we're off. Oh, of course, my dumbass doesn't have the intro teed up, so we're gonna have to play it manually. But I mean, hey, this is show business.
Are you ready?
It's gonna be a hot girl disco summer. I'm never doing that again. I apologize. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Here, let's fix it. Something cool. All right, so now we're actually live. Yes, this thing is actually on. We are queued up in the Drafters $10 Superflex. Hi, my name is Disco. I like to get weird. That's my friend Sleez Bomb. He likes to argue with me. And at the bottom of the screen that you guys are looking at, that is Steve-O Speak. This guy had 16 best ball lineups. It was 16 best ball lineups in the finals last year. He had like a 32% advance rate for his Superflex drafts and lineups. He finished 60th in the Drafters Superflex. This guy's a Superflex aficionado. And because we have, a guy who's a diehard Superflexer, a guy who, we can pick his brain about this Superflex stuff, obviously we're going to queue up and draft in the Superflex, and we got ourselves a lobby here. So, Steve, I tried to listen. Your resume is it's so rich. There is so much that comes with your resume. I hope I did justice to your introduction, but please take it away and pick up on anything I missed. And welcome to the show, Steve.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I did get to join you on the live stream for about an hour and a half, which was awesome. Such an incredible job you did doing the whole 24 hours, and of course raising the money that you did for such a great cause. But it was good. Like, we didn't get a lot of chance to talk. I mean, there were some good questions that we all got to talk on, but I've been a big fan of your show for a while, and I've been able to jump in a few drafts, and I'm sure you've noticed we're in multiple slow drafts together. But it's so great to come on, and thank you. I am a big fan of Superflex. I know you've had Who Hames on before. He and I really are in the Superflex streets, both on Drafters and Underdog, and I appreciate you having me on here. I'm on the clock, so let me make my pick before I say anything else. And here I'm going to go Gibbs is in consideration, but Lamb, quarterback is very important, and you will see me draft quarterback heavy in this. But when you get a guy like Lamb after the first 5 quarterbacks go, it's such an easy click for me.
Yeah, well, I think that's my biggest issue with Superflex. I don't like drafting quarterbacks in round 1, but I mean, if you're at the 101 or you're one of the top 4 picks, you kind of have to take a quarterback there just based off of ROI and how this contest works, because something great isn't going to come back to you. And if you were drafting at the back end of the draft, you could get a CeeDee Lamb at the 108. You could get Justin Jefferson at the 109, a Brian Thomas Jr. at the 111. So we're going to shout out everybody in the community right now that's in this draft. Shout out to Mount Matumbo. He's at the 111. Shout out to Sleez Bomb. That's my co-host with the most at the 110. Billy Gableman at the 109. Steve-O Speak at the 108. I'm at the 101. Terry Rice, good to see you, buddy. I know you maxed out the main. You've been itching to get some drafts in. You're at the 102. And I see a 1-week season person here at the 103. Now, let me ask you, is there, because everybody and their mom thinks that like wide receiver in round 1 in single quarterbacks here on Drafters in particular, that's kind of the move and the way to get the maximum like advance rates to finish in the money and potentially finish as a top 100, right? Is there a cut and dry theory in Superflex where it's like, this is how you have to start from XYZ, or is it more fluid?
Well, I do think it matters what part of the draft board you're on. Like you said, if you're at the top, you kind of have to take a quarterback in the first round, and maybe, like you're coming up on the turn here. I know you're on the clock, so taking you could take a second there, or you go anchor, which you did, which either way is fine and playable. But I think you do one or the other. And I actually like what you did, taking 2 running backs there, because running backs dry up, I think, a little bit more in this. And now you feels like, I don't know exactly the way you're looking to build this, but it feels like you have an anchor quarterback and 2 like anchor running backs, and that can be pretty strong in this. You're still going to need other quarterbacks. You want your super flex position filled by a quarterback as many games as possible. Yes, you know, it will get filled. You know, you'll always have a guy available. It could be your your second tight end, filling that super flex spot. But you want it filled by a quarterback. Quarterbacks just score way more, particularly after you get past like the Chases, the Barkleys, those elite guys. And you know, because anyone else is filling it with their 4th wide receiver, their 3rd running back, their 2nd tight end, and those positions, outside of a rare week where you've 3 running backs go off for 25 points or more, quarterbacks are just going to trounce that week in, week out. So I think being strong at quarterback is important, and the position does dry up, and there are some ways to mitigate it, like particularly in the drafters format, because every week matters the same. So some of these guys who might not start all year, whether it's Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck, they have more viability, I feel, in this format, because, you know, if you're taking, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of either one, but if you're taking them in regular, how often are they starting above your starting quarterbacks? Not often at all. But how often would they start in the super flex above, like Spencer Rattler week 1? Likely will get 15 plus fantasy points. How often are you having a 4th receiver getting 15 plus fantasy points? Not as often as you think. So I think that is the first key to kind of think about. And now I'm not advocating those guys, but I'm saying like the Russell Wilsons or Joe Flacco's, they carry a lot of value in this format.
Sexy start
that they don't in regular.
No, sorry, Sleez has drafters Tourette's, so please forgive
no problem.
For
Kyler fell 15 spots and I landed in the bride stack.
I love that for you. So when you were talking about that, my mind started getting rolling, right? Because you do want to take these shots, but you want to take these shots with guys with a lot of high upside. And
sure.
But like I also want to get guys who could get regular usage. As of recently in the preseason game, and as we heard from Clint Kubiak and Coach McDonald over in Seattle, they have several packages for Jalen Miller when he's in there. And like when he's in there, obviously he's a rushing threat, which gives you that like secret sauce for a potential super flex, but he could also take over as the starting quarterback down the road. So I'm like, who's somebody else who could fill that void and fill that category that could be a cheat code? And obviously, I'm thinking Taysom Hill, but he's starting the season on the pup.
Yeah.
So I think the best possible player right now, who's kind of like that fringe, like wildcat quarterback kind of thing, it could be Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren could be one of the best like fringe super flex plays in this tournament, and I love that idea.
Yeah.
Am I reaching too hard there?
Well, if Warren, particularly, you know, obviously with them benching Richardson, Warren could be their tush push guy, their short yardage guy, and so it just makes him potentially like this is how Warren does what Bowers and Laporta did the years before, be rookie tight end 1. Warren can do that, so I do think, particularly in this, because you do want quarterbacks more like. Ideally, you know, you're getting at least 3, if not 4. I've done 5 quarterback builds, depending on how I felt about things. And sometimes that's handcuffing your quarterback. Like if you take, it's not the greatest example because the backup's banged up also, but if you take Justin Fields has never played an entire NFL season. So taking Tyrod Taylor as well ensures you, you know, have the Jet starter. So another example was last year, Washington. I'm a Commanders fan. Jaden Daniels didn't even miss a start, but he left after the first drive in the Carolina game and left at halftime in the Cowboys game, week 18. Both of those games, Marcus Mariota came in and had 19 and 24 fantasy points. So
he had that much?
Yeah, good games.
Wow.
This is what I mean by a quarterback is even a even a backup caliber quarterback is going to, you know, have a lot of weeks blowing your 4th or 5th, your 4th wide receiver and your 3rd running back out of the water.
I just wish I had this Tyler Warren and Jalen Milroe and Taysom Hill epiphany, because like I'd much rather take a shot on Taysom Hill than a Tyler Shut, because I think
Yeah.
Taysom Hill's good for 2 nuclear weeks on a regular basis the moment he comes off of the pup. So we're going to catch up with the chat. We got hey the goats. What's up, Andre? Good to see you, brother. Hey, man. I told you there's a reason why I said Green Bay Packers were going to the Super Bowl. Did I anticipate and think and project that Micah Parsons would get traded? No, that was Sleez. Sleez is the one who called that one, which is a stupid call. His mind is actually a weapon. It's pretty special. So let's change gears, right? Because obviously we're not an IDP league. We're not doing IDP stuff, so we're not going to give IDP advice. But since the season's upon us, what kind of implications and like ripple down effect do we think that the Micah Parsons trade has for, let's start with the Dallas Cowboys offense, right? Because that defense was already coming in as one of the bottom units that's going to give up a lot of points. So the implied point totals are going to be astronomical. But like at this point now, when you're looking at it, it's like, are the Cowboys already tanking for the future because they have so much draft capital to build? Or like, is this an offense that you want to invest in because they have no choice but to put up 40 to 50 points on a weekly basis? How are you dealing with that, Steve? And then Sleez, we'll get your thoughts as well, because you haven't said a thing. You're just nodding your head and having your Tourette's bursts.
Yeah, no, I would lean to the Cowboys being offense you want to target, just because they are going to have to put up points, and I don't think they are tanking. Just one, of course, guys like Dak and plenty of other vets on the team. But the other thing is Jerry Jones isn't getting any younger. Like, I don't think he's sitting here for a rebuild. I think he's sitting here saying, I want a chance to win every single time we get to a new year. So I don't think they're tanking. I think it just didn't get done. I mean, Kenny Clark's a good player. Maybe they trade one of those first 4 player during the year if they feel they're in it, something like that. But it's definitely a blow to them. Their defense is going to be bad.
Yeah, it's
for sure
going to be atrocious. And we got a comment here from Steve Sayao. Steve SEO. He says, Steve, thanks for joining. I've known James for a while now. He says, Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. And thank you for joining us on that draft-a-thon as well, man. I'll be honest, I don't remember the conversations that we had at that point. I was kind of like in flow state. I remember at 6 a.m. I am giving like a very animated take on the importance of drafting wide receiver in round 1 and the ripple effects. And like I went into like the whole Marvel alternate universe explanation.
Oh, wow.
And I was speaking to like a rocket scientist, because that's what DMIC Media does. He's like a rocket scientist who focuses on like the science of fantasy football. I love Dennis. It's so cool. So I always get to nerd out. And I was talking to my wife today about that. And we'll get to you, Sleez, I promise. But I was talking to my wife about that portion of the stream. And it was I was like, I couldn't tell you 2 things that I said from like 5 a.m. till close. I just know that I drafted, and I had some really awesome people carry the show the rest of the way. Sleez, what are the implications with the Micah Parsons trade? And like, do we think that we're going to see like a Debo from Friday situation with the number 11 and Jaden Reed just getting his number just ripped from him from Micah Parsons?
I think they do. I think someone on Drafters needs to change their name, like Bengal Buckmaster to Bengals Cowboys, because these are the 2 offenses that you need to target 100% now.
But they both have weak 10 buys.
I'm just saying that's the offenses you should be targeting. The Cowboys defense is going to take a massive hit. They do have a very tough schedule. It's not going to be like they're going to be able to cakewalk any team and pound the run. We know their run game is going to be probably one of the bottom 5 in the NFL this year. I mean, it's wheels up if Dak stays healthy for every Cowboy in the receiving game.
Interesting.
I say week 4, though, Sunday Night Football, hold your breath, because Micah Parsons is going to be fucking coming for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's going to be
I hope Dak survives that game.
I mean, I hope he survives the season for what it's worth. Yo, what's up? Good to see you, No Cap. Thanks for swinging by.
How about this draft, folks?
So where do you have Dak Prescott ranked in your rankings this year, Sleez?
He's a quarterback 11 and ascending. I am worried. A lot of people think that he's one of the biggest injury risks at quarterback this year, which, you called it last year, hit the nail on the head. If he doesn't stay healthy, I mean, then they go full rebuild mode and it's over, right? So I think that's one way they're looking at this trade, right? They're like, well, we make this trade now. if Dak makes it through and we're contending, I agree with what Steve said. Maybe they trade it first for a player. But if, Dak goes down, they got both sides of the, pendulum covered.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Milton still wheels up for the other two wide receivers. I'm not worried about their backup quarterback situation for what it's worth.
It would still hurt, though.
I think Milton would be better for that offense in the long haul. And the call he's referring to, Steve, is last year I said I'm avoiding Dak Prescott because I believe he's going to get injured and miss the entire season.
That was good.
Yeah. It was one of those weird ones where, I'm grateful that I avoided him, but it also sucks that, that had to happen to him.
I mean, look at my quarterback ADP in stacks right now, please. Tell me that this isn't a super flex draft right now.
It looks good. I like the Tua value and the correlations there for sure.
All quarterbacks are 10 plus pass, correlated all the wide receivers and Trey McBride. What? Let's go.
Andre, we'll answer your question shortly. So we'll answer your question first, and we'll parking lot what I wanted to talk about because it is important. Drafting from the one spot, 12-team PPR. What's your ideal start? So, Steve, we'll let you go first, then Sleez, and then I'll wrap it up. 12-team PPR from the 101.
I mean, I'm taking Chase every time.
100%.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, and then if when it comes back, I
got him a cut.
I want at least one more receiver, maybe a receiver running back.
Nice. So who is the receiver that you're targeting in round 2, 3?
Well, if we're talking like what we're seeing on these types of boards, I love doubling up and just taking Chase Higgins. I think that's extremely strong.
Even
Higgins
in redraft?
I mean, redraft's a little different, but Higgins to me is still the type of receiver who you just play every week. You don't try and mix with matchups and stuff like that. He finished second in points per game last year. You look at every healthy Burrow year, he's been at least top 10 or top 12 in points per game. He missed some time in some of those games, so maybe his whole some of those years, so maybe his whole seasons weren't great. But when he's out there, when Burrow's out there, they are incredible together. And sure, like Chase is still the alpha, but he is as good as it gets. And if not him, if somebody like Alad McConkey falls, I'd take them. If somebody, it's tough because other receivers in that range aren't really great right now. Like we're not feeling as good about, like some of the guys like Devontae, Tyreek Hill, etc. But yeah, I think that, and that's the other reason why I kind of prioritize Higgins right now.
Yeah. So well, go ahead, Sleez. What's your strategy at the 101?
I would push back on that. If you're taking Jamar Chase first and you're at the 1, which means you're waiting 24 picks the next time around, you have to double tap running back at 2 and 3 no matter what. You come back at 4 and 5, you're probably cooked. So and your wide receiver value is going to fall way more than the running back value is going to fall in the drafts this year.
In redraft format in particular, especially if it's PPR format, I think it's a little bit more balanced, but still very heavily swayed by running backs early and often. Honestly, my strategy is...
I mean, we had 24 running backs gone by round 4 in our draft.
Wow. Yeah, I at the end of the day, I know I'm going to be... this is a Pineapple Express reference, but I know I'm going to be picking from the Schnickel-Fritz of the running backs in the elite tier, and I'd rather not pick from the Schnickel-Fritz, and I'd rather attack the ones at the other 2 positions, and then attack BPA at running back and wide receiver, and just go back and forth there. I'm not gonna jump on a guy like Kenneth Walker, who I believe is better than the Chase, and like Chase Brown, you can't get at that ADP regardless, right? So for what it's worth, when I'm looking there, I'm like, okay, well, I want Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, and I want Trey McBride. Those are the guys I'm targeting. If Trey McBride is gone and somebody was smart enough to take him in round 2 because they know they're going to get positive return on investment, that's when I decide to go with a running back. So at around the bend, especially in redraft, I think targeting ones is the most important thing for me, because that way you just get to dictate the way the rest of the draft goes by making sure that you've got the number 1 receiver, the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 tight end locked. you just attack the rest moving forward. So I mean, you got 3 deferring strategies right there. So yesterday I kind of went on this tangent when I opened up my stream and I was trying to give advice, right? And I was talking about the importance of correlation and the importance of stacks and single quarterback best balls, especially here on Drafters. And I think I did a good job explaining it. Chat, you guys let me know how I did. And I see your comments, Billy. You're more than welcome to hop on here, and we could get you guys to both stand on business talking about what's suboptimal and what's not. So I say that to say this: in Superflex, how important is correlation, especially investing in offenses with a lot of firepower and high implied point totals, if important at all? I know some people think it's not important, but I like to pick everybody's brain and hear every theory, because at the end of the day, it just takes one lineup and one theory. And with Superflex, I don't think we see the same carryover from what we've seen in the past. Like, something different's going to have to happen.
So Superflex stacking, I believe you were saying. Sorry, I was making my pick when you started that, and to me, it's not. It's great if you can. Like, Sleez is obviously doing that really well. But you know, I got like Evans with Baker, so I feel good about that. But it's not as important, I'll say, because to me,
usually doesn't fall like this. It's wild.
Exactly. So it's like, if you're forcing it, you lose some of the value you get from it.
Okay, Sleez, what's your theory?
Dude, I defer to Steve. I could pick the super part, or I could pick the Superflex Dynasty startup part with trades, but I haven't been great in the Superflex streets. I didn't do good last year, but I only did like 20 drafts last year. But you know, I'm not Superflex savant. I defer to Steve on that. I don't stacks, no stacks, BPA.
Yeah, I mean, when it happens, great, but it's like, and like, you know, I was hoping I could push Kelsey back. That didn't work, you know. But it's like, I'm not going to force. It was either take Kelsey like 5 picks ahead of ADP or push him, you know, hopefully push him back. Didn't work. That's fine. But I'd much rather be, you know, when I'm getting some falling value or something like that.
Makes sense. Let's catch up with the chat. I apologize for my dog right now, folks. What's up, all you amazing and beautiful people? Hated seeing Steve take Darnold there. Nobody's talking Stafford. 4 QBs in the first time round. Steve, very suboptimal. Oh, we're on the clock. So what's going on with Jaden Reed? Is he like done?
He's gonna play through the foot injuries, the update, which is gonna be probably out real quick.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about picking him up just as another correlation piece with Jordan Love here, and he fell at a wonderful value, but I'd rather take somebody who's going to be in a high-powered offense who has to throw a heck of a lot than somebody who's kind of fringish.
I got one for Steve here. If you go elite QB here, right? Say you're one of the top 4 picks in Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. Is the goal 2 quarterback, 3 quarterback, 4 quarterback with that elite pick?
I think 3 quarterbacks with the elites.
Before you answer the rest of that question, why did you skip out Jalen Hurts?
Because I don't put him in the elite tier.
Oh man, I can't wait for you to eat your words. Nevertheless, I apologize. Once
Take
again,
the tush push away. He's a top 15 quarterback.
Who?
Take the tush push away. He's a top 15 quarterback.
But the tush push is not taken away. So I mean, if you want to live in imaginary,
you said quarterback. I said I don't put him as an elite quarterback. He's an elite rusher.
Okay, if I wasn't born with a penis, I'd be, you know, not big draft energy. Like, make it make sense, dude. Like, the tush push is still there. It's still relevant, and that's still a 13 to 15 rushing touchdown floor. So just by definition, when you're talking about elite quarterback, it's what can he do to produce for you in fantasy football lineups. I think he's going to be elite this year, and every year the tush push exists because that is his secret sauce. And here's the kicker: the moment they remove the tush push, he's going to find another way to succeed and be absolutely dominant because he's just that special of a player. So we have a little pushback based off of your start. He says, hated seeing Steve take Darnold and Sleez taking Tua. This is stat ATL. Billy gave him, and he's a very sharp best ball drafter in these best ball streets. Nobody taking Stafford, 4 QBs in the first 4 rounds. Steve, very suboptimal. Ooh.
So to me, And look, I will admit, like it's different in drafters than say underdog, because underdog you're also bullying your room. Only 2 people advance. Where obviously all 3 of us could make money on this, and But what I would say is I'm playing it. I will never need a running back or wide receiver in the flex. I mean, if I just took Mason as my 3rd running back, Mooney as my 4th receiver. If I have a week where my top 3 receivers go off and Mooney has a 25-point game and he's my super flex, amazing. But I'm not playing it to the expectation, because most weeks my quarterback will get 10 more points than any receiver or running back for that super flex position. So you qualify that over 17 weeks, and that's a lot of points you're adding. So to me, it's worth like being exceedingly strong there. And yeah, the Jaden Reed news is not good.
Is he still falling?
Yeah.
I might have to take the bullet if he falls to me one more time.
I almost did
at this value.
I almost did. So I agree. Like I'm thinner and I can't afford as many injuries, say, at some of these positions, because I don't have like the depth that some of these other teams have. But my quarterback, like Sleez mentioned, like I'm competing with the elite quarterbacks. You having Allen, the Lamar team, the Hurts team, the Burrow team, the Jaden team. So already, like I'm behind with Mahomes. But now I have Mahomes and Mayfield, and my guess, Mayfield did what he did last year. He's outproducing any positional player could even hope for a super flex.
Okay, so here's mine, right? And mine isn't pushback. Like, are you Canadian? Because like typically when people come at me like that in the chat, I'm usually like, "Go fuck yourself." And that was like the most politically correct and like sweet. You're such a sweet, kind human being. You're not Canadian, are you?
No, not Canadian.
Where are you from, Steve?
I'm from Virginia.
Virginia, almost heaven. West Virginia. What's up, fellas? What's up, Al Boogie? Good to see you, buddy.
Sure.
Welcome to the show. What the shit is Stickle Fritz? Have you ever seen Pineapple Express, the movie? Sleez, can you please explain to them what Snickle Fritz is? Because like I think you Pineapple Express every night.
Snickle Fritz is the best weed in the movie.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Pineapple Express is, but Snickle Fritz is like the lower. They give it to the kids, and the kids sell it.
Yeah. So like essentially, what Snickle Fritz is like they save the good stuff for people they like, and they give the bad stuff, which is called the Schnickel Fritz, to people they don't like.
No, he had tons of them. That's not a good
Schnickel Fritz. That's what it means. I hate the Packers, says Dennis. Damn. I hate them too, for what it's worth. I hate them a lot, but I've also predicted them to go to the Super Bowl. I hear what you're saying with the QBs. Just FYI, winner of last year had only 2 QBs, Mahomes and Baker. But that's last year. Expecting last year's results in a tournament that like just changes is I don't know. Depends on who your second QB is. If you should 3 or 4 with an elite. Sup fam says who hames. This feels like Freaky Thursday. Like right now, earlier today you had Updog on your show, who's my guy, and I have your guy Steve O speak on my show. Kind of feels weird. Do you want to hop on the show? I don't know if your show's wrapped up, but I caught the most of it, and I'm glad that you figured out the chat situation, because the moment the Micah Parsons trade happened, I was driving in a monsoon. I was trying to type in, your chat just wasn't available.
He called me right away.
Yeah, and then I called Sleez. Country Roads. My wife and I love that song. By the way, Colby and the Cattle Dog, that's my wife, guys. That's Colby is my black lab.
I belong.
It's such a good song. That's my black lab, and the Cattle Dogs is Apollo and Rocky. Hence why you hear Rocky just barking all the time. Like Rocky has the dog's version of what Sleez has, which is just like an obnoxious Tourette's to just weird stuff, random stuff. I have no issues with people with Tourette's. Now, Steve, are you in the DFS streets at all?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Mainly on DraftKings, but yeah.
Okay, so have you started your preparations for week 1? Because I'm ready to talk a little week 1 stuff.
I've started it, but I'm very much at the beginning of it.
That's okay. That's okay. But I'm like, I don't think I'm tapped out of redraft stuff. I'm done my redraft. I have one more redraft on Saturday, but like I've done so many best ball drafts in a single QB PPR format that I know the values like the back of my hand, right? What I mean to say is like I've already done my preparations for week one, and I'm ready to talk week one. I'm ready to talk some DFS tertiary plays. I'm ready to talk about some like good push-up values. I'm ready to talk about,
Save the tertiary plays.
well, there's a couple good tertiary plays that I think is very common knowledge that a lot of people could adhere to and like, and I think it's just very common knowledge, right? There's the deep sleeper tertiary plays that's not common knowledge, but like right off the rip, if we're talking about a tertiary play at wide receiver week one, who are you guys leaning?
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy's not tertiary. He's kind of like even middle of the pack. Tertiary, like, and
to define how far you have to go for tertiary, then.
Yeah.
Okay, so like whatever's middle of the pack,
that's Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, so whatever's middle of the pack, that's not tertiary. We're talking about like several tiers below that. So like a Jalen Coker would be my tertiary play at wide receiver against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, Cedric Tillman.
Okay. I don't hate that call for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, like we just said, targeting
Bengals.
The Bengals is a pretty winning strategy, I feel like. But I like the Coker call as well. Like hearing that he's going to get the slot role, I think is huge for him. Whether you consider it tertiary or not, I'll actually say the guy who opened up that role, Adam Thielen for the Vikings. There's no Addison. Naylor's hurt. Justin Jefferson's coming off a hamstring injury. Adam Thielen has worked in the system before. He knows he's worked out with JJ McCarthy, and he's actually still good at football. Despite what some people think. So I think he comes in and just starts balling week one as they miss Addison. So I think he's clearly underpriced because they set pricing well before this trade. And they set pricing when he was with Carolina. Carolina and the Vikings had the exact same. There's one difference, a difference of one, but they had the same number of pass attempts last year. The Vikings had 1,000 more passing yards and 12 more passing touchdowns. So there's just so much more fantasy upside in the Vikings offense than the Panthers.
Okay. So I love what you just said there. All right. So tertiary running back play. I'm going to go first because this is like the elephant in the room, and I'm just going to get it out of the way and let you two be smart about it while I send Huhames this invite. He said he could be on in 5 to 10 minutes, and she said, sorry about Rocky barking. It's not your fault the dog barks. I'm going to say that I love Travis Etienne as the feature running back, but I'm willing to stagger and be contrarian with Bashal Tutin, who is a contrarian play. And I'm also willing to stagger and be contrarian with a guy like Tank Bigsby, who I think is another contrarian play. But I think my favorite tertiary play out of them all is attacking the defense. You two were just talking about the Cincinnati Bengals with Dylan Sampson. He's my favorite tertiary play coming into week one in DFS. He's already on 40%.
Trey Harris or Quentin Johnston?
Trey Harris.
Oh, that's gross.
So who do you like, Steve, at the running back position as like a good tertiary play? I just took all of them, so I need you to look at the schedule and dig deep.
I got one already. Let me jump in.
Let's please go first while I try and think of.
He's going to score more points than ETN, and that would be Tank Bigsby at a cheaper price.
Well, I just said him. So
you did? I was listening.
Yeah, I said him. Bashal Tutin shows how much you listen. You have Tourette's and you have a very short attention.
I'm gonna go Ollie Gordon against the Colts.
I love that call. That's a spectacular call. I like that a lot. Okay, great call. Great call. I don't have any Ollie in for what it's worth, so I love that for you. Steve, you got anybody?
I'm gonna go guy I just drafted, and also last couple of years commander Austin Eckler. Everyone's hyping up JCM, and I think there's some good reason, but he's going to split the early down work and the goal line work with Chris Rodriguez. Eckler's role is very safe, and I think early on they'll rely on them more, especially against a stout defensive line like the Giants. The Giants are not a defense that you're probably going to be able to run against a lot. So Eckler can help in the passing game. He finished, I believe he led all running backs in yards per route run last year, and I want to say yards per target as well. And he is still good. He played just 12 games last season. Actually, it's closer to 11 because he left 2 games early, including the Bengals game before halftime. And he had 700 total yards, 35 catches, 4 touchdowns. He had more fantasy points than Tyron Tracy, or not Tyron Tracy. I'm sorry, Jalen Warren, who goes, of course, way ahead of him in drafts. And he and Tyron Tracy had the exact same points per game. So, I just think he is mispriced, especially with, who are they going to rely on? Either 3rd-year 6th-round back, 1st-year 7th-round back, or Austin Eckler, who's just always done it.
And against that Giants front, man, it's not going to be on the ground. It's done
Exactly
in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what Steve was.
I could see him get like 6-7 catches.
What's Eckler's price though?
It's I don't have it up in front of me. It's very cheap. It's like 4,900, I want to say.
Oh yeah, that's tertiary. If it's that low.
Oh, well,
no,
it's
on DraftKings.
So I play on a different DFS site for what it's worth. I don't know if you've heard of Owner's Box DFS, but it's a super flex contest.
Okay.
And it's available here in Ontario. And I'm kind of established in the Owner's Box streets.
Nice.
Use promo code DISCO to double your first deposit if you're interested, up to $1,000 on Owner's Box. It helps me out a heck of a lot. And that's where you can catch me doing majority of my DFS stuff. I also do like the Drafters Weeklies. I love the Drafters Weeklies. I finished top 7 3 times, finished first once last year in the Drafters Weeklies. Pretty fun stuff. And it's just a different concept because instead of trying to allocate, and make sure that you're mitigating, the costs and maximizing your budget and your salary cap there that you have in a typical DFS. It's a DFS lineup, but you're doing it redraft style with like 3-4 other people in there. It's pretty fun. I don't know if you've tried it, but
how do you guys feel about Dylan Sampson week 1?
So that was my guy.
Have you talked about him?
Yeah.
I'm way off. I'm lost.
Yeah, you need to open up your ears. All right. So tight end, my favorite tertiary play is Mason Taylor. I love Mason Taylor week 1. And then I'm going to give an honorary mention to Ja'Tavion Sanders. Mason Taylor has a terrible matchup against excellent defensive back room. But I will say that he is probably the viable wide receiver 2 in that situation with Minkah Fitzpatrick being gone, the guy who typically was the safety stopper. It's still a very advantageous matchup. And based off of the scheme that Tomlin has defensively, that is the one gaping hole is that, a deep ball and the crosser to the tight end position. And I think Mason Taylor is going to make himself he's going to be one of the most picked up guys after week 1 in the waiver wire. So I'm telling you, just target him and put him in a lot of your DFS lineups. I love him. And Ja'Tavion Sanders, I mean, what can we say? That Ja'Tavion Sanders has a great matchup. Brenton Strange has a great matchup. You kind of want to pick that game. So who's your tertiary play that's not any one of those 3, Sleez?
Tight end. I mean, God, you just rattled off the list.
I gave you 3. There's 32 teams playing.
Okay. So let's go like this. Let me pull up the list real quick. I mean, I don't like that. Darren Waller would be interesting for a touchdown play against the Colts.
And I hate that because across the board, when I'm doing my advantageous matchup rankings, every statistical category, he has an advantageous matchup, but I think he gets a bump.
He'd be a good one.
I think Waddle gets the bump where it would be like where the target range is. I think that bump goes to Waddle. So that's why I have Waddle as a top 15 wide receiver in week 1. But that's not a bad call because it could be him.
Brenton Strange, another one that could be a nice play week 1, especially against Carolina.
Play week 1. He's one of the 3 I mentioned.
Okay, there you go. Well, we're going cheap, man. I can't. If I go Hunter Henry would be nice versus the Raiders. Security
Hunter
blanket.
Henry's a smash. I think he's a tertiary play. Yeah, that's a good.
Kyle Pitts is a good one as well.
That is another tertiary play. Shockingly. What about you, Steve-O? And you could talk about the same ones we talked about.
Yeah, David Njoku is a smash, but he's.
I will say
my tighter one.
Yeah, I will say among cheaper ones, my 2 favorite are Strange and JT Sanders. But one that I'll throw out there would be because you mentioned Mason Taylor. I'll take the tight end on the other side in that game. Pat Freiermuth, I think his ownership is going to be nil. And yes, they have Jonnu. Jonnu missed the last like 3 weeks of camp. I know he's back now, but I think Pat Fryermuth's been the one working out with Aaron Rodgers and catching passes from him. And also, I think both of those guys are going to play. I think both those guys are going to be pretty good. You look at 2 years ago with Arthur Smith in Atlanta, and Drake London, he was their top weapon, their top passing weapon, and then they had Jonnu Smith and Kyle Pitts. They were 2 and 3. Kyle Pitts was 2. Jonnu Smith was 3. Bijan Robinson had more targets than Jonnu, but in terms of yards, it was those 2 guys. And they both finished as top 20 tight ends that year. I think it was like 14th and 17th. So, and that was on a team that was led by Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke, and they had all of 17 passing touchdowns that year. So I think any given week, Fryermuth's live to get in the box, and I think he can just be an absolute smash at that point.
I love that.
I got a good one for you. Let's throw this in here. What is your favorite at value, tertiary value, whatever you want, stack for week 1?
Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and if that's a pay up based off of where you guys are drafting, then I'm going to go down to.
Have you guys talked about Dylan Sampson yet?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hi, Who Hames guys. In case you're not aware,
What's up, buddy?
This is Who Hames guys. This is another Superflex legend, just a monster in these Superflex streets. We'll look at the draft shortly, but I'm enjoying this conversation. It's good to talk week 1 and like change gears here. Welcome to the show, Who Hames. If you guys are not subscribed to Who Hames, Sleez Bomb, and Steve-O Speak, you're at the Fanspeak Network on YouTube,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
If you guys are not subscribed to these guys, please take a moment right now to go do that, and then head on back here. All right. Value. So I think Tedero McMillan has to be a value. I think Jordan Love has to be a value. So like Jordan Love and Matthew Golden, I love that as a value stack. I love Tedero McMillan and I love Bryce Young as a value stack. And then I think Trevor Lawrence is probably a value stack right now too. But BTJ is probably a pay up. So I think Travis Hunter would also be a viable value stack.
BTJ is actually not that expensive. Like 66, 6,800.
Yeah, he's here.
The chalk is probably Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Purdy's probably a little bit pricier, right? Because he's talking about the stack.
So for me, my value stack is actually the guy you had on the screen that I had you up on the screen, Drake May. And Diggs is a little bit more expensive. But I think you can go down to Douglas or Hunter Henry. And I think either one, if you're looking for tremendous value, May has such a big rushing ability. He had over 400 rushing yards in 12 games last year. And he didn't finish all those games. In fact, they did the Josh Allen treatment where week 18, he played 1 drive and he was out.
Okay, I got one.
And so
I got the best stack of all. Just give me a second.
He I think is going to go from he had 400 rushing yards last year and like 2 touchdowns. Easily could be looking at 750 and 8 to 10.
I love that as a Patriots fan. I don't know if you could tell, but I love my Patriots. But David Njoku and Joe Flacco, come on, that is one of the best value stacks you could possibly have.
Absolutely.
Against Cincinnati Bengals. That is such a great value stack. I think Njoku could be like a super flex option, and you can also get yourself like a Hunter Henry as well. Not a super flex, just a flex option. You can get yourself a Hunter Henry or even a Jatavian Sanders or Brenton Strange. What about you, Who?
Yeah, I mean, I've done 4 lineups, and most of them have Njoku in it, and one of I didn't want all of them to have Flacco, but I think
your best pay up is Joe Flacco and Njoku and Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, actually, I have that exact thing with the Jamar Chase bring back in one of my lineups. Like it just makes too much sense. But I think everybody's going to get there, so the contrarian stuff's probably a little better.
Yeah, I mean, like if we're anticipating ownership on that stack, we're looking well over like 60 to 70% in general, right? So I think what makes you stand out in a contest like that, especially when it's a big field tournament like that contest, it's important to be contrarian and try to get something else. So that's why we always have these conversations. Okay, so
I actually have I mean, all the stacks that I like, one of the players is expensive. Like, Steve kind of talked about Eckler earlier. I don't mind the Jaden Daniels Eckler stack and not hitting the wide receivers.
I like
maybe
it.
tie in Earth also, but yeah.
Actually, I do. I have the no receiver with the Malik Neighbors bring back, and like feels so good. Like it feels very good.
Yeah.
Willie, don't be saying howdy, gents. Week 1 props are up on drafters under the season. Don't be telling me that.
Don't be no.
Don't be telling me that, man, because fuck, Lord knows I like to attack those pick'ems early and often. I'm going to tell you guys right now, one of my favorite here's 2 of my favorite props. Put them together, stack it up the moment they release, if they're not released yet. Bo Nix completions and anything receiving for Bijan Robinson. That'll triple your money, guys. Sign up on Drafters Fantasy. Use promo code DiscoTail at your own risk. But yeah, double your first deposit and then go put the free money on that bet, and you'll be happy. You'll triple or quadruple. My math is mathing, but I do know one thing: this draft is done, and we're going to start looking at some lineups. I have not seen Mount Matumbo in here, so Mount Matumbo, if you're here, give me a no. All right, let's look at Terry Rice from the 102. So, Steve, I'm not sure if you're familiar with what we do here, but typically at the end of the show, we always look at the community's lineups. We give feedback, constructive criticism, and grades. I'm not a super flex guy, so you and Huhames can kind of take the helm here. Sleez and I are going to interject, and we're going to put our insights and our 2 cents in there, and that's about it. But you guys are the super flex guys. So the way the grades work is like, those terrible grades that you get at the end of a Yahoo draft, where it's like the likelihood of you doing worse is if you score an A+. That's how we do it here. So Terry Rice goes 4-6-8-2. Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Tyler Shuck, and Spencer Rattler. I like that you cucked your own quarterback. Sweet. But I also like the values you got at both of those quarterbacks, like both of those quarterback rooms or situations. Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne, Nick Chubb, Keaton Mitchell, DJ. I like this draft so far. It's so methodical. Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry also correlated with Lamar Jackson. Puka Nacua, Cortland Sutton, Xavier Worthy, that's where he went. Ricky Pearsall, Michael Pittman, Roman Wilson, Malik Washington, DeAndre Hopkins, another correlation piece. And then he finished off with Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, another correlation piece. So across the board, he's got Ravens correlation here. Any thoughts on this, guys, fellas? Who wants to go first?
So I'll go. Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler combo, something I did a lot, and like the underdog stuff. I really like it. I think it's smart. It's like you basically couple 2 picks that kind of value at a 9th or 10th round to guarantee a starting quarterback, and they probably won't. Like, actually, both of them kind of run a little bit too. So like they have a little bit of a rushing involved in them as well. But I love the RB room. Like, you're going to be able to get 2 guys there with your quarterbacks. Like the Russell Wilson thing, I'm in the camp that by week 8, 9, 10, it'll be dark, but it may not be. I mean, and you can build for all scenarios. But the wide receiver room is awesome. And like, you're definitely going to start 3, and you might flex wide receiver a bit. And what was the tight end room?
He's got Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough at tight end for this contest, for sure. So, no, I like it. I'd give it like a B+.
Steve?
Yeah, no, I'm very similar. I think this is a contest where I like to stop at 2 tight ends to still get like 8 receivers and my 4th quarterback. And I think you did well, but you definitely got a value. I mean, I'm probably actually even more bullish on Russ. I think Russ could start essentially up to his bye, and we see Dart just kind of in there the last couple of weeks. But at the very least, I think he's covering Lamar's bye week, so that's huge for you, because then you still have two quarterback outs for that week. And like who said it before, Shuck Rattler in this format, it's such a cheap combo. and I think it's strong. Like I mentioned, most weeks they're going to get 15 or more fantasy points, and that is good enough for a super flex. Like it's going to, maybe like who mentioned, you do have a really strong wide receiver room, so maybe there are weeks where like Ricky or Pittman are getting that along with your top guys. But I think that is, and you can also do it this way because you went anchor, with the Lamar. Like I think that's not as easy to do if you're in the back half of the draft. And your first quarterback is like mine was Mahomes in the second round, or like a Kyler Murray or somebody like that. So I think with an elite quarterback, you can do it. And I mean, for you, you're just hoping Russ gets as many starts as possible, because then you're like, I have Baltimore as long as Russ starts and the Saints, and that's okay. It's not going to be the best, but that could still be okay with the way that it's built all around. Because the running back room, 3 to 4 starters there, receivers, 5 clear starters, and then like these guys like Roman Wilson, Malik Washington, DeAndre Hopkins, all fine picks as well. And 2 tight ends, absolutely good with that.
So you alluded to referring to who, Hames. You said like who said, and I thought you were asking a question. I was going to say it was who. Yeah, you did that twice, and I was like, okay, my brain hurts now. No, great work. Any insight on this one, Sleez?
Nope, I agree with everything they said. I kind of like the quarterback play. Kind of like the Shoup Rattler tag because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Short and sweet. Mount Matumbo doesn't like his team, so we'll bypass that one. All right. Let's look at. Okay, so it's Billy, then Sleez, then Steve-O, and then me. So Billy, this is a guy who hated your quarterback play. He goes 5-5-7-3. And by your quarterback play, I just mean like how early you took your quarterbacks. JJ McCarthy, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. So he double tapped that Cleveland situation. And then he took Jimmy Garoppolo and Kirk Cousins. So very, very volatile. And the value you got JJ McCarthy at is crazy. This is a very volatile quarterback build. But if you get at least one consistent second quarterback in this, you're smashing. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Dylan Sampson. I love the running back room. Najee Harris, Kyle Monangai. I mean, that's where all the running backs went. Cool. Justin Jefferson correlated with JJ McCarthy at a discount. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Devontae Adams with Jimmy G, potentially. Jalen Waddle, Juwan Jennings, Josh Downs, Darius Slayton. I would have liked to have seen one more wide receiver here. TJ Hawkinson, another correlation piece with Minnesota. Brenton Strange, I don't think you needed Fannin, but I don't mind the Fannin click here either. I just would have definitely preferred to see one more wide receiver, but this is very, very strong work, as always. Sleez, what do you think?
I don't like that draft from Billy. I don't think he likes it either.
Billy, talk to us. Who? I'm talking to you, who, Hames?
It is. It's fine. Like the Joe.
Be honest. Be honest.
I mean, I like Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel at cost for sure, and I've specifically talked about throwing the darts, and Jimmy G, like with the back issues, that one makes sense. Kirk Cousins, absolutely a high volume offense, possibility of being traded. I mean, those are targets. So, like, if you're going to push and you're going to try to do something, like, I think that the issue is, I feel like that I don't really feel like RB's strong enough to have pushed quarterback that far. Like that's my thing. I think that one or two of those
Saquon and Jacobs.
Yeah, like if you're gonna submit your flex spot to either a wide receiver or a running back instead of a quarterback, like I don't like pushing it that far at that position. Like because running backs in general average like in half point PPR at least, and like in full PPR it is a little different with the flex spot, but like there was 11 running backs that had 15 points per game.
And there were 11 running backs and 6 receivers.
Yeah. And like it's a little different with full PPR, but it's still fairly close. And if you're going to give up your opportunity to flex the quarterback for the first 4 weeks, let's say, because of possible injury or whatever, I think the running backs have to be stronger there.
Okay. What about you, Steve? And before you go, Steve, I just want to shout out our guy, Pete Terranova, from the Fantasy Football Face Off, First Street Fantasy. pretty much you name it, he does it. Player profile, he does it. He's just everywhere and anywhere. Shout out to Pete Terranova. Pete, do you have a show coming up? Can I raid you? I would love to raid you. What's up, Bones? Good to see you. So what do you have for this lineup, Steve?
So what I'll kind of like mostly agree with who and Sleez said. What I do know is this is also somebody drafting at volume. So it's like if this is how you build all your drafts, no, I wouldn't like it. But if you're doing like this is 101 for him, if he's doing 150 of this, like do 10% of your lineups like this, and then that's okay. It's like going like extreme 0 RB. If you're doing 0 RB for most of your drafts, you should start running back in the 5th, 6th round. If you're going to extreme 0 RB and starting in the 8th round, it's not great, but every now and then a team could work. And this team, it at least has a vision. So I give them that because like Flacco, Gabriel can be the poor man's version of that Saints situation. You just run the risk where if somehow Shador takes over, then you just don't have a second quarterback at the end of the year. Now, the good news is McCarthy is an early buy, so you should clearly get through that. But it's one of those things where Garoppolo and Cousins, well, I think they're good backup quarterbacks, and Garoppolo could easily get into the starting lineup pretty quickly. If that doesn't happen, if Stafford is healthy and Cousins just doesn't get traded, those are just 2 zeros on your roster the entire year. So you run that risk. And to Huheim's point, like I like Dylan Sampson as a third back, and honestly, Najee and Monanga are good 4-5, but you're going to probably need, the super flex position to be filled by a strong running back or receiver score. And I think, like I'm not as high on Waddle, and I think Huheim's is kind of in the same camp.
Oh, I love Waddle.
And I mean, he is better on PPR than half point PPR. He just doesn't have big touchdown upside, which always worries me. Like Juwan Jennings, he's starting. He's probably going to miss week 1. There's just more risk here than I would typically like. I love the mega McCarthy stack of JJ and TJ Hawkinson. So that feels really good. I think it's fine. And this is the type of team that I think could finish in the cash, but I think it's going to struggle because most weeks you're going to concede to pretty much not every lineup, but a lot of the top lineups from the super flex spot.
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. This guy was sandwiched between you and Sleez. He says, don't love the QB room. Hence why I was mad that Steve took a fourth quarterback so early, and to a lesser extent, Sleez took Tua. Gotcha.
And so it's just like
I know he didn't like it.
Now, if McCarthy ends up being what Kirk Cousins was under Kevin O'Connell, what even Darnold was with Kevin O'Connell, then maybe there's still a path. But that's the difference between the guy in the second spot who had Lamar just to like lock down that quarterback score week in, week out.
Yeah, and he even agreed that this roster
season from JJ McCarthy. Yep.
I mean, whenever a draft room doesn't go the way that you're expecting or hoping, like you have to make hard decisions, and they usually just make it worse. Like we've all been there. Yeah. Like you're like, oh well, I guess I'll have to push this even more, and then it gets even uglier at what you were pushing, and uglier and uglier, and like we've all been there. We've all tried. Like, and as Steve said, volume drafting. You're going to push that a little more.
Yeah. I think the hardest decision I had to make here was getting Jaden Reed. How many picks did I get him? 50 past ADP to get a second correlation piece with the Green Bay Packers. That was this draft went swimmingly for me. Let's look at Sleez, see how it went for him. He went
with your super flex winner. Write it down.
He went with a 3-6-8-3 Vanilla Gorillas standard build there for roster construction type, which works. Missionary gets the job done, guys. Kyler Murray at a 14-pick discount in a Superflex is stupid. CJ Stroud at a 7-pick discount, and then Tua at another 14-pick discount. Wow. James Conner correlated with Kyler Murray, Aaron Jones, Ja'Cory Krosky. There's a big drop-off in running back, in my opinion, but I still like the JCM fall that you got him here. Brian Robinson Jr., I like the correlation with Ollie Gordon and Tua. And then Rashad White, I think, is just free fantasy points in PPR format for 4 to 6 weeks. Like, you're going to get 10 to 15 points from him, minimum. So, best ball, I love him. Nico Collins correlated with Stroud, Neighbors. Tyreek Hill correlated with Tua. Rashid Shaheed, Rashad Bateman. Oh no, he took the Bateman. Kyle Williams, Trey Harris, Michael Wilson, another correlation piece. And then Trey McBride correlated with Kyler, Jawan Johnson, and Dalton Schultz, another correlation piece. I think Dalton Schultz is one of those guys who I think has a really, really good matchup week 1 against who's Houston playing? The Rams.
Rams.
I think he has a really good matchup, but I think that work and that equity goes to Christian Kirk. I don't know where your heads are at, but
yeah, I don't. It was the last pick.
So with that being said, who will let you go first? Because I love the correlation. I like the team. I think your weak spot is like 2 fucking seniors at the running backs.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ollie Gordon's kind of your saving grace. But then again, Devon Achane, I'm still betting on him, and I think his current value is going to feed families. So who do you think?
I think it's a great draft. I think it's a pretty easy A. It's very well balanced. He got the 3 quarterbacks. He's got all of them stacked up, and he has all of the meaningful pieces in the Arizona offense. So, like, it's just throwing shade out here at Marvin.
Oh man, who likes
Didn't
Michael
take
Wilson?
Marv, baby. Dude, Michael Wilson, a wide receiver 2 in round 19. Come on.
You have Michael Wilson?
That's going down to C+.
Yeah, okay. You D-. Got it. No, no, it's a really good draft. I really do
D
like it.
for donation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So shout out to Ezra, by the way. This is my guy. He was the first donor, by the way. Out of all the people, he was the first person to donate for the draftathon in the hospice and palliative care event. So shout out to Ezra. He says that wide receiver room is cute. That senior citizen running back room is not fun. Agreed. What you got here, Steve?
I like it. I think it's like an A or A minus. I think 3 clear starting quarterbacks. Health is the biggest factor because all 3 have dealt with injuries. But if they stay healthy, that's a very strong quarterback room. They're all correlated. You got good value on them also, which is always good and fun. I'm actually okay with the running back room because James Conner keeps getting it done year in, year out. I mean, he'll miss 3 games, but his points per game are insane.
Massive.
Aaron Jones, probably takes a little step back, but he's better in PPR. JCM, I think is a fine pick. Brian Robinson, I'm a little less on, but I get it where it's at. But I really like Ollie Gordon and Rashard White. So I think it's you have some youth at the bottom with like Gordon or JCM and White, and then you got veteran experience. So I think it's kind of a balanced running back room. So I like that. And then the top 3 receivers are exceedingly good. Nico Malik is very fun. Hill it's an injury. It's his injury. It's Tua's injury. But if you're betting on Tua staying healthy, hopefully Tyreek can stay healthy as well. And then I like Shaheed and Bateman as your 4-5. Bomb receivers are just dart throws. Definitely some upside play there, I think, in particularly Kyle Williams.
Home run hitter. Let's go.
I probably would have maybe looked to instead of Dalton Schultz, like handcuff one of your quarterbacks just to ensure it a little bit.
I thought about that too.
Because when I take Trey McBride, I'm almost always stopping at 2 tight ends, even with, and I think Jawan Johnson's a fine number 2 tight end. So just because this is the other thing, tight ends, their chance to hit your super flex become much lower because they're now actually comparing to the Joe Flacco's of the world. Not only are they comparing to your 4th receiver, your 3rd running back, your number 2 tight end now has to beat out for your team. It has to beat out, Stroud and Tua. Like, when's that going to happen?
Right.
So that would just be like my one comment on it. I get it was a correlation piece and all that, but I would have probably felt a little better if that went to like get, insurance quarterback.
Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers?
Milf Hunter.
I probably would have gone Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was
Did you just say the MILF Hunter? I love that. I love that. So who, I think I missed it, but what did you grade this draft?
Yeah, I said an A. Like it was an A off the top.
Okay, and Steve?
Yeah, I think A or A minus. I mean, it's he pushed quarterback, which is viable on drafters. You can't do that on.
I cannot believe those values fell like that. That's I've never gotten that.
And to still get 3 starters like that is really good.
I'm giving it a D for donation because your running back room is old as fuck. Let's catch up with the chat.
Don't worry about Bill. He's coming for you.
The issue with this is Benson Mason breathing down
Oh,
these
don't
guys
give me
next.
that Benson shit from last year.
I'm not worried about Benson, but I'm also worried about Connor's age. So I don't know about breathing down his neck, but he is a good handcuff click. Mason plus Benson equals Manson. Killer joke. Okay, give me a look, please. Says Mount Matumbo. No. Okay, let's look at Mount Matumbo. We'll do this one quick, and then we'll look at Steve-O's and then mine. Mount Matumbo goes 3-6-9-2. Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, and Aaron Rodgers. I don't hate this. Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift, Tank Bigsby, a little micro stack there. Tyler Algier, Tajay Spears, Roshan Johnson. Don't hate it. BTJ correlated with.
Oh, speaking of Roshan, before you go on, what does the panel think here? Is it going to be Roshan or Menenjai at the goal
I've
line?
decided it's Roshan.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know if the Bears know. Bears beat
decided
writers
Roshan.
definitely don't talk about it.
I'm just gonna lose if it's one of them two.
So,
I'm thinking it's Roshan as well.
because here's mine. It's because Monongai is a terrible pass protector, and in Ben Johnson offense, you have to be able to protect the quarterback, and that's why I'm like, and I wish I had more Roshan.
I was very much hoping they would pick somebody up on the cut day.
I was hoping it was Estime. So shout out to all the AJ Dillon truthers. You're dead. Let's keep going with this one. Dan, shout out to Dan, literally the only AJ Dillon truther on the planet.
There is one more that it's Gritty, I think.
Who's Gritty?
You don't know Gritty? He's a legend in best ball.
Oh well, I mean,
go follow Hit Him with the Gritty on X.
Mike Bulldog.
Bulldog.
He has extreme stands, but he's actually had some success with it. And
he had 83% advance rate last year in big board because he takes his players every round.
Yeah,
and they just happened to hit all of them basically last year.
That's kind of what I'm doing this year.
Yeah, and but his last round pick every time last year was Chase Claypool. Like some of the stands, no one agrees with, but a couple of them he was right on.
Like this year, AJ Dillon's his guy. He takes him in almost every draft. He's got
the last round
70% AJ Dillon.
You burn that pick, buddy boy.
All right, Trevor Lawrence correlated with Brian Thomas Jr., Drake London, Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin as your glue wide receiver is terrifying, and then another significant teardrop with Adam Thielen. Romeo Dobbs would have looked better on my team. Troy Franklin, Jalen McMillan, Calvin Austin, Brock Bowers, Evan Ingram.
Yikes.
Yeah. We looked at it. We looked at it.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, I actually think, I mean, there's a few picks like the Jalen McMillan is probably a 0 for the year.
For the year? I thought he was coming back week 8.
No, 10.
I think that's best case scenario. And then by the time he's back, like Godwin's above him. I just think he's buried at that point. Like you'd need an injury to Godwin or Evans or Mbuka for them to.
I don't even know if he comes back after that injury, man. I mean,
yeah, that was bad.
That was really bad.
So I could see them just giving him the whole year. Would be my guess. Like he's off my draft board right now just for that reason.
Same.
And honestly, even more so in a format like this where every week matters the same. If you're making he'll be back for the playoffs, that's a different story. But so I mean, it's things like that. But honestly, you have 3 starting quarterbacks. I think that's always good. I'm bullish on Lawrence and Young pretty well, and honestly, Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers finished 17th in points per game last year. People want to dunk on him. He had 28 touchdowns. That was more, just as many as Mahomes. It's not a knock on Mahomes.
A toaster.
It's not a knock on Mahomes. It just shows actually Aaron Rodgers put up very similar numbers in a really bad situation himself. I mean, I'm taking
Mahomes was legitimate being hurried as much as he was hurried last year. He was blitzed.
Aaron Rodgers was 40 years old. Don't give me no hurried shit. He can't even move.
Okay. I mean, hey man, if you want to bet against Mahomes this year, make your bet. It's going to be fucking great. Give me all the receipts. Sorry, Steve. Please keep.
Oh no, I'm taking a ton of Mahomes. But my point is, Aaron Rodgers, going back to what Hu and I have talked about, like the 15-point threshold. 11 of his 17 games, he had 15 or more fantasy points. So his ability to hit your super flex is going to be exceedingly high. And then at running back, I mean, Kyron and Swift, they aren't my favorite, but they're starting running backs. Bigby's fine. Algier is good. Taj when he comes back, so you're covered. That's why he takes 6. And like we all talked about, who knows about Roshan, but if it is him, that could be a very valuable role.
Now, was that WHO or HOO? Who knows about Roshan?
It's both.
I'm serious.
That's WHO because nobody seems to know what's going on in the Bears back.
I just think the wide receiver room is killer.
Well, like he killed 3 positions, and he's just praying in a third. Like that's a good best ball team. Whenever you kill 3 positions, and
I don't think
just
he really
hoping
killed running back either. I wouldn't say killed.
No, he killed quarterback, tight end, and wide receiver.
I think wide receiver is fine because Godwin sounds like we don't know exactly when, but sounds like
it
could
just
be
updated today, week 6.
I saw that, but then somebody else didn't confirm that, so I don't know if is that 100% confirmed.
I mean, that's why I saw Sleeper. But
I saw that on Sleeper, but I tried to search other stuff, and it didn't. It still said like could be back in the first 5 weeks.
The weak part. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think his wide receiver was
Godwin. I don't trust Thielen, Dobbs. Debo's talking me into him, and the rest, no way.
Yeah, I'm not letting Debo talk me into Romeo Dobbs. It's Matthew Golden or bust. That's it. All right, Steve-O, you go with a 4-6-8-2 roster construction. Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, all 4 starting quarterbacks. K9, any team that Kenneth Walker's on, I'm a fan of already. And you got Mahomes, 2 of my guys who I took huge stands on. Alvin Kamara, Jordan Mason, Austin Eckler. It's a fucking D for donation. You got Rico Dowdle in there. And Justice Hill. Just take Trevor Etienne. Just take Trevor Etienne 100% of the time, every single time. CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, correlated with Baker Mayfield, Stephon Diggs, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Coker. This is another significant drop-off at wide receiver there. Alec Pierce, correlated with Daniel Jones, Raymond McLeod, Kevontae Turpin, Jake Ferguson, Zach Ertz. I would have taken one more tight end as well. Who would you think?
Sorry, I was finishing up a draft.
Addict.
I might have just won the super flex over on Underdog. Yeah, this is good. This is good all the way around.
Even the wide receiver room? I feel like there's a significant teardrop here.
Yeah, but if Mooney's healthy week 2, like this is
Mooney's the glue. Mooney's the 4th, right?
I mean, I'm
talking about after.
Like I've been in on Coker the entire season, so
I like Coker. I'm a cokehead. Don't get me wrong, but like the hold on, I invest in Jalen Coker. Let's put it. It's just capital spent. I feel like there's a significant teardrop here, and I personally like to see more consistency here. But once again, you guys are super flex dudes. What do I know?
Like I go at super flex different than a lot of people. I want my quarterback to flex every week, and it may not. So like whenever I look at this, he has enough quarterback firepower to generally flex quarterback. And he's got enough wide receiver to hit 3 big numbers every week. That's how I look at it. So if those things happen, like you don't need 4 big numbers. Like if you start with the the double wide receiver builds and stuff like that, yeah, like you may try to flex a wide receiver a little more often, but you have to continue to smash them so they can get that big value. But if you look at this at just trying to start the 3 wide receivers and the 2 running backs, like it works really well together.
Okay. All right. Over under 0.5 rushing yards for Rodgers in week 1. Well, unlike college football, he doesn't lose rushing yards.
I thought you were going to say 0.5 seconds when I first read that.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say I'll take the over because you don't lose rushing yards, and he's going to be scrambling for his life behind that offensive line in Arthur Smith's system. Mooney's back at practice might be good week 1. Good call.
Yeah.
If he is good week 1, I like him as a tertiary play. Sleez, what do you think of this draft?
I mean, I listened to Huham say he likes it. I'm not a super flex guy. I don't really like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't like the wide receiver room at all. I don't think your tight ends are strong. I mean, Zach Ertz is the same thing as last year for a top 7 tight end, maybe. I do like Ferguson in the passing game a ton. CeeDee Lamb as well. I would like to see Dak in there with it, maybe a little stack play, but it doesn't matter in super flex. I think you didn't need the 6th running back. I think you were fine with the first 5. And I think the wide receiver room is like you talk about my running backs being old. You got the old vets in there, man. You got Evans and Diggs coming off injury. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a super flex guy. I don't.
No, and just the only thing I push back on is I think keep in mind, and this is I think what Williams was trying to say, and I mentioned this when STL brought it up in chat during the draft, is I'm drafting this. My hope is I never have a running back or receiver in my super flex. So I'm only starting 2 and 3 every week. That's the way I drafted this. Like sure, of 17 games, maybe 2 of those games, Mooney or Coker, Coker has a 25-point game. Yeah, it's probably better than my second quarterback, but odds are I'm taking it where not only do I cover my super flex, but I'm also maximizing my quarterback score because I have 4 starters every week to get essentially two top weeks. And if we both, like if Mahomes and Baker are both top 10 quarterbacks, that's a massive number of points. And then there's 2 insurance policies behind that.
Now, would you say this is influenced based off of like the strategy that you've drafted in the past on underdog? Is there like a difference between them? Because
there's a major difference in it because of so on drafters you change your flex to the super flex, and on underdog you only start 2 receivers, and the extra receiver slot is a quarterback. So it's a completely different world.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because based off of principles and like just certain nuanceical differences between what you guys say and what some of the drafters guys say, there is some nuanceical differences, and I just didn't know if it was that.
Very, and I would say I don't do this approach every single time. Like particularly when I'm on the front end, I do more like an elite, obviously in the first round, and then I'll wait until like round 5 till I'm taking my second quarterback, and then, but I still try and take 3 starters. I want 3 starters. Absolutely.
All right. Well, like mine's a donation for sure because I waited until round 6 to get my first wide receiver. So this is not why they call me Big Draft Energy, guys. And please do not subscribe to me. Like, don't unsubscribe. Like, I tried something different here, and who knows? It might work. We'll see. I just have to be very accurate with my receivers, right? I go 3-5-9-3. Josh Allen, Jordan Love, Jalen Milroe. Running back is Devon Achane, Chase Brown, Javonte Williams, Dameon Pierce, Jarquez Hunter. Wide receivers Keon Coleman, Matthew Golden, Chris Olave, Jerry Jeudy, Jacoby Myers, Khalil Shakir, Jaden Higgins, Jaden Reed, Brandon Ayuk. It's not bad. George Kittle, Isaiah Likely, Jatavian Sanders. All right, Sleez, you're laughing at it. Tell me.
No. I'd like to, first of all, applaud Keon Coleman. I'd like to take the credit for his ADP rising 100 spots, by the way. I'll smash on that one. I like seeing him up there. It's not bad at wide receiver. It's just not elite. You have 9 literal hits, right? And you got the value of Reed and Ayuk, both off injuries. Maybe they pop late. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, I absolutely love. Golden Olave, volume galore. You got 2 elite quarterbacks. I think it's scary with just 2, though, in Superflex. I think those weeks that one's on a bye is really going to hurt because those massive points are huge. I don't hate it. I think you're in the same situation as me. You could have just went with Kittle and Likely and left another tight end off the board and maybe take another shot at a quarterback down there. But I don't hate it. The wide receiver room is actually not bad for no elite.
I thought so, too. I tried something different, and I
I like your wide receiver room better than I like Steve's.
Well, I think it's just more like concise and like streamlined based off of ADP, where everything was like really narrow. Like I got Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir here correlated with Josh Allen. I got Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden correlated with Jordan Love. Obviously, I don't have any correlation with Jalen Milroe, but like I alluded to earlier, they are going to have situations with Jalen Milroe where he comes in inside the game. Like he doesn't have to start, but they have packages for him to get in and get involved. And I think he can spike in such a way and just break fantasy football. And then, if he does become the starter, then we're laughing. Hopefully it happens sooner than week 5 or week 7. But yeah,
I really like the wide receiver actually.
So the way I approached this was I wanted to target the high implied point totals for the season that I have projected, and I wanted to get as many players involved in that as humanly possible and get correlation based off of that. I just happened to luck out with the team with the highest implied point total at the 101 with Josh Allen, and then I got the team with the 7th highest implied point total with Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. So I don't know. Let's ask the Superflex guys how they feel about it.
So in a total points version, I think this has it's a thin path, but there is a definite path because like if Josh Allen and Jordan Love are like top, like if Josh Allen probably top 5 quarterback, and Jordan Love is like number 7 or 8, like those are good points every week, and you have plenty of wide receiver firepower to get you through a flex a couple weeks whenever one of them doesn't do well. Like, do you have enough wide receivers to put up 20-ish points, 22, 23 points in a flex spot? Probably not. But whatever, in the research I done, a lot, like even the number 1 overall team flexed like 12 points 4 times. So like you're going to have some teams that flex at a low number. It mostly depends on, are those 2 guys the guys you need? And if Devon Achane and Chase Brown are what you need, like I think this team is fine. It's thin there, but if it is full PPR here. Chase Brown, a lot of people don't know, he caught 53 balls. So like
he also found the end zone 12 times, which really inflated his value. But please proceed.
Yeah, right. But like if they're the guys you need this year, like this team has a path for sure. It's a thin path, but it's a path.
What do you rate it?
I'd say like a B plus. Like it. I've been in rooms with Steve. You have to go quarterback if you want 3. You just have to go get them. So
yeah, I don't know. I just felt like doing something a little bit different, right? Because
it makes sense. And Steve even alluded to it earlier. If you volume draft, you don't want to spray the same bullet. Like you don't want the same bullet over and over again.
I'm not a volume drafter in this tournament, for what it's worth.
But I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it's still to that. Like you're doing, whether even if this is your last one, you're doing 22. Like I wouldn't do this build every single time you get a top spot and you get an elite quarterback. But I do think, like who Hames said, there is a path. Like if this is 2 years ago when Jordan Love was QB6 and Josh Allen was still Josh Allen, then that's the path forward for this. The Jalen Milroe, I think at best, I don't believe he ends up as a starter. So I think at best you might get 1 or 2 weeks where he breaks off like a 40-yard run and could hit your super flex there. I think
Jalen Milroe starts for 2 years.
I kind of think, Drew Lock would, if there's any sort of little injury or anything like that, I think Drew Lock starts. For me, the running back room is a little thinner just because I don't believe in Javonte Williams like at all.
Me either.
Look at the signed jersey, baby.
I get it. Like he had so many targets last year, so for PPR format, like he is better than regular. But I just honestly don't know what to make of the Cowboys backfield. I like Achane and Brown, but I just worry like if either of them go down, then it becomes
a nightmare.
A really weaker running back room. Receiver room is awesome for sure.
Yeah.
And like you can get some weeks where they're covering your flex. I think with Kittle, I maybe would have stopped at 2 tight ends just because, like I mentioned before, like a tight end is not going to hit your super flex. Of course there are always if you had week 17 last year, if you had Trey McBride and Zach Ertz, he's hitting your super flex, but odds are a tight end is just not going to hit your super flex. So I would have added like a 6th running back for depth there, or even another quarterback, like a backup quarterback to ensure. Like I'm not the biggest Malik Willis fan, but you take Malik Willis to back up Jordan Love to ensure you have the Packers room, especially with Love coming off the injury that he's coming off of. That would just be kind of my
taking the damn quarterback too. I thought about it. Dalton Schultz was a stupid pick.
That just would be kind of my thought on it. But I actually, for waiting on receiver, I think that wide receiver room is very strong.
Yeah, and I think adding Jaden, like I'm not taking Jaden Reed, I wasn't taking him anyway, but like it makes sense here. Like you have plenty of projected points to get through there on both of those guys. They go so late on drafters that if you have a deep room like you do without the top end, like they're perfect picks for this, especially with him being correlated.
100%.
So like I love like I'm way out on him, but I love him in that specific build.
So I believe this draft is like the perfect, like it exemplifies the idea of like, well, we're going to get our money back and then some, but we're not going to win. Like I think this draft can place in the money, and losing too many points, RB troubles on bye week also. That's also a very accurate, but I'm also not betting on Joe Mixon coming back at all. So I'm okay with Damian Pierce there. Disco, I love that wide receiver room. Your worst wide receiver is still very good. I'm going to get my money back on this lineup, so it's not a donation, but by no means are we in this draft and this lineup are we getting the not outcome of potentially winning the tournament. That's why you're supposed to draft, these lineups and how you're supposed to draft these lineups.
I do agree with Steve that last tight end should have been something else. Again, I don't know what he said. I can't remember, but I would have thrown a dart at RB. But
yeah, I said RB or like a Malik Willis to ensure you have the Packers room.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did we go over Steve's?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was the 4 quarterback in the top
the Daniel Jones one. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one I just did on the underdog, by the way, I took 5 quarterbacks because it is a different system. But I took I had Daniel Jones at ADP, and Richardson was there at like 170, and I added Shoup because I don't know if Jones is going to start. But like I pushed quarterback a little bit. I had Baker to Daniel Jones, but I started with it was Jahmyr Gibbs, then Baker, and then I went Achane fell back, Bucky Irving, and then Tua fell all the way back around, and then Daniel Jones fell back around. So there you want to start three running backs because you still have your flex, and I still have Tony Pollard on that team, and like it looked really good for that. Like it's much different over there. So
yeah, I mean, like just being able to change gears and try to do something like on 2 completely different platforms. It's
while I was reviewing those, I was drafting that one, so I might have got confused. I might have.
How do you feel about our weekly winners that we've done together so far? Are they still looking good, or are we still sitting pretty?
The first one, I mean, we don't have Joe Mixon, so
so
that's a win.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm gonna.
I went back and looked at a couple of mine. I've did like 3 of my stream drafts. We've taken Joe Mixon, and one of those we took Judkins as well. It's like, well, that one's done. Like, like so. Okay.
Right. Mixon is my exposure. Okay, so I've cut down. I'm down to 11% now. So that's
Steve.
Good.
I think Steve was where I was. I was like 15% in pre-draft, and I was like 15% by the end of or by middle of June.
Okay,
and I started call me crazy, but hearing that he was in a walking boot in March didn't scare me at all. And it may and that is actually why I'm 100% out on Jaden Reed, like basically because of what happened there. Like I know it's not related. I know that the rumors are something else is going on, but like I don't care. I was burned. I'm not getting burned again. Like that's it.
So is your show the sibling showdown that's about to go down right now?
Yeah.
Steve Speak?
Yep.
So guys, we're gonna call it right now so we can get our guy Steve O Speak out. The link for his live stream right now. What are you guys doing on your show, real quick?
We're going to be doing a couple different underdog drafts. First, I want to say thank you so much for having me on. This is so much fun. I enjoyed this a lot. I love talking ball to you guys and look forward to doing this a lot more going forward. And yeah, we typically do underdog. I've been getting calls to do more drafters, and I love drafters, so I think I will start doing drafters starting next year, just since we're at the end of it now. But yeah, we're going to do a couple underdog drafts. It's me and my sister. We run Fanspeak, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Amazing to have you on, man.
I want to shout that out too. Like, if you want to watch him get bullied by his sister on all the picks, because she has all the control, and he's like takes out of the lock, and she's like, ew, all the time. It's great. It's fantastic. It's a good watch. I recommend it.
All right, well, he's got a jet. We're going to wrap up, guys. Please go show some love to our guy, Steve. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
And until next time, guys, which is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.